Hola and welcome to ProSpanish. Our first set of sentence starters are aimed at beginners, so if you have a more advanced level, then just fast forward to the time frame that comes up on the screen now. Okay, we'll start with the sentence starters and then we'll add more vocabulary so that we can make sentences. Don't worry about trying to remember it all. I'll add the English at this initial stage. Okay, so voy a is I'm going to. Voy a, I'm going to. Tengo is I have, but if we want to say I have to, as in I have to do something, it's tengo que. Tengo que, I have to. A nice past one here is iba a. Iba a, I was going to. Iba a, I was going to. Acabo de is I've just, and then the verb to say I've just done something. Acabo de. Puedo is I can. Puedo, I can. And we can make a question as well. Can I? Puedo, same word. Then we have me gusta, I like. Me gusta, I like. And me gustaría, I would like. Me gustaría, I would like. And again, it's not important to have all of this in your head right now. As we do the practice, you'll see how it falls into place. Okay, then we have some verbs. Now, the good thing about these sentence starters I've given you, that we can just use the full verb. We don't have to change the verb to I, he, whatever it might be. We just use the infinitive, the to do. So we're going to have salir is to go out, to sally forth. Salir, to go out. Estudiar, to study. Empezar, to begin or to start. And hacer eso. Hacer is to do, and eso is that. So hacer eso, to do that. Okay, before we expand this anymore, let's just practice what we've got so far. So let's look at the first one, voy a. Voy a, I'm going to. So how would we say? I'm going to go out. Just put the two together. What would it be for I'm going to go out? Voy a salir. Voy a salir. I'm going to go out. How about I'm going to study? Voy a estudiar. Voy a estudiar. I'm going to study. And don't forget to press pause to give yourself thinking time in between my question and the answer on the screen, because you'll only learn if you work out the answer for yourself before it comes up on the screen. Okay, let's try another one. How about, let's go down to I would like. Me gustaría. Me gustaría, I would like. How would we say? I'd like to do that. Me gustaría hacer eso. Me gustaría hacer eso. I'd like to do that. Okay, let's add in our final column. Contigo. Contigo is with you. Contigo, with you. Con él, con is with. Con él is with him. Con él, with him. And hoy is today. Okay, so let's put all this together then. How would we say I like to study with you? I like to study with you. What would that be? Me gusta estudiar contigo. Me gusta estudiar contigo. How about can I? So remember, puedo is I can, but as a question, it's also puedo. Puedo, can I? Can I go out with you? What would that be? Can I go out with you? ¿Puedo salir contigo? ¿Puedo salir contigo? How about I have to start today? I have to start today. Tengo que empezar hoy. Tengo que empezar hoy. How about I was going to study today. I was going to study today. What would that be? Iba a estudiar hoy. Iba a estudiar hoy. How about, and this will just be from the first two columns, how about I've just done that? Acabo de hacer eso. Acabo de hacer eso. How about I'd like to go out with him. I would like to go out with him. Me gustaría salir con él. Me gustaría salir con él. And if we want to make any of these into a negative, I'm not going to, I wasn't going to, I haven't just, we just put no at the beginning. So, how would we say, I haven't just started, no acabo de empezar, no acabo de empezar. How about, I wouldn't like to go out with him. No me gustaría salir con él. No me gustaría salir con él. How about, I'm not going to do that today. No voy a hacer eso hoy. No voy a hacer eso hoy. So puedo is I can. So for I can't, we just need to put the no at the beginning. How do we say, I can't go out today? No puedo salir hoy. No puedo salir hoy. How about, I don't like to do that. We might say, I don't like doing that. No me gusta hacer eso. No me gusta hacer eso. Okay, if you can, try a few of these without looking at the screen. So we'll start off with voy a, so the I'm going to one. How would we say, I'm not going to go out with you? No voy a salir contigo. No voy a salir contigo. And of course, it's absolutely fine to take a peek at the screen. There's no way that you'd be expected to learn all of this in just 5 minutes. Okay, how about I've just studied, let's add in Spanish. You probably know what Spanish is. How would we say, I've just studied Spanish? Acabo de estudiar español. Acabo de estudiar español. And how about, I'd like to study Spanish? Me gustaría estudiar español. Me gustaría estudiar español. How about, I'm not going to study Spanish today? No voy a estudiar español hoy. No voy a estudiar español hoy. Let's put two phrases together. So how would we say, I can't do that today. I have to study. I can't do that today. I have to study. What would that be? No puedo hacer eso hoy. Tengo que estudiar. No puedo hacer eso hoy. Tengo que estudiar. And we'll just take a very brief pause there so that I can mention our very popular Levels 1 to 6 course available for download from prospanish.co.uk. And the course takes the complete beginner or near beginner right up to conversational Spanish in a series of easy to follow steps. So that's prospanish.co.uk. Okay, so now let's start with our more advanced learners. So we'll begin with el hecho de que. El hecho de que is the fact that. El hecho de que, the fact that. And then we'll have ojalá. Ojalá. Ojalá, strictly speaking, doesn't have que after it, but in practice, most people say ojalá que. And ojalá has its origins in Arabic, and it gives the meaning of hopefully or I hope. Then we have no creo que. I don't think that. No creo que. I don't think that. And we'll have es curioso que. It's strange that. Es curioso que. Okay, in our second column, we're going to have our verbs. Now, all our verbs have to be in the subjunctive. And the reason is because everything in the first column automatically triggers the subjunctive. So we'll have venga, he or she comes. Tenga, he or she has. Salga, he or she goes out. Haga, he or she does. And diga, he or she says. Actually, this is also the same for I. So the subjunctive I come is venga. Subjunctive I have is tenga. Subjunctive I go out is salga, etc. But we'll stick with the meaning of he or she for the purposes of this lesson. And then in our third column, we're just going to have hoy, today, and eso, that. And the final column is es un problema. It's a problem. Es un problema. Okay, let's give this a go. How would we say, hopefully he'll come today? Hopefully he'll come today. It works out like hopefully he comes today. Hopefully he'll come today. What would that be? Ojalá que venga hoy. Or we can leave out the que. Ojalá venga hoy. And again, using ojalá, how about I hope she does that. I hope she does that. It would be the same as hopefully she'll do that. What would it be? Ojalá que haga eso. Ojalá que haga eso. How about it's strange that she says that. Es curioso que diga eso. Es curioso que diga eso. How about it's odd that she's coming today. Es curioso que venga hoy. Es curioso que venga hoy. And with this kind of impersonal phrase, es curioso que, nearly any variation with a different adjective would trigger the subjunctive. So, es interesante que haga eso. It's interesting that she does that. Es posible que tenga eso. It's possible she has that. So most adjectives can go in there and we'll still have the subjunctive. Except, so I said most, where you wouldn't have a subjunctive if there's the word that gives certainty. So if it was, it's true that, there would be no subjunctive. So if it was, it's true that she's coming later, es verdad que viene más tarde. Or if it's certain that, es cierto que viene hoy. It's certain that she's coming today. Cierto can also be it's true. it's true that she's coming today. Es cierto que viene hoy. So in the vast majority of cases, it'll be a trigger for the subjunctive using this kind of impersonal phrase, unless it's one of the rare occasions where you're saying that something is true or certain. So let's have a look at el hecho de que. El hecho de que, the fact that. Now in most cases, el hecho de que is followed by the subjunctive, and I'll explain in a moment when it isn't. And this is really interesting because if you do a search, you'll find it really difficult to find a clear explanation on when to use the subjunctive and when not to with el hecho de que, the fact that. Well, let's get some practice to start with. How would you say the fact that she's coming today is a problem? El hecho de que venga hoy es un problema. El hecho de que venga hoy es un problema. The fact that she's coming today is a problem. How about the fact that he says that is a problem? El hecho de que diga eso es un problema. El hecho de que diga eso es un problema. How about the fact that he's going out today isn't a problem? El hecho de que salga hoy no es un problema. El hecho de que salga hoy no es un problema. How about the fact that she does that is strange? El hecho de que haga eso es curioso. El hecho de que haga eso es curioso. How about the fact that she has that is interesting? El hecho de que tenga eso es interesante. El hecho de que tenga eso es interesante. Okay, so let's have a quick look at when you wouldn't use the subjunctive with el hecho de que, the fact that. And this is a little bit technical, but I thought it might be of interest to some of you. Okay, look at this example. No es por eso. Es el hecho de que nunca ayuda. No es por eso. Es el hecho de que nunca ayuda. So, it's not because of that, no es por eso, it's not because of that, it's the fact that he never helps. So, el hecho de que nunca ayuda, the fact that he never helps. And ayuda, that's not a subjunctive, that's the indicative. And the first thing you'll notice is that we have el hecho de que towards the end, well, at the end of the sentence, and the verb that follows el hecho de que here, that's the end of that clause. That's the end of that phrase. Whereas go back to the kind of thing we were creating before. El hecho de que hagas eso es un problema. The fact that you're doing that is a problem. In this case, we can see that after el hecho de que hagas, we've got a continuation of the phrase. We've got an independent clause following it. So we've got the fact that you're doing that is a problem, causes this, does this, whatever. It's an integral part of the sentence. The first bit, el hecho de que hagas eso, wouldn't make sense by itself. The fact that you do this, or that you're doing that, if we just stop there, the sentence doesn't make any sense. So the quick rule is, when el hecho de que needs to have an independent clause following it for it to make sense, the fact that this means something else, when you have to have those two parts to it, then you need the subjunctive after the el hecho de que bit. If it's towards the end of a sentence and nothing follows it, nothing needs to follow it. So the example we had before was, that's not the reason, that's not why. It's the fact that he never helps. We're not continuing. That is the end of, we don't need another independent phrase to, or independent clause to follow that. And in that case, there's no subjunctive. Okay, another example of when you wouldn't have a subjunctive is if, let's say, whatever the phrase might be at the beginning, and then it goes, and also the fact that it's hot. So there are all these reasons why I don't want to go, and also the fact that it's hot. So, y también el hecho de que hace calor. Y también el hecho de que hace calor. So here our sentence is ending on the el hecho de que phrase. It's not dependent on something else following it. And we can even come up with an even easier general rule. Pretty much, whenever el hecho de que is at the beginning of a sentence, it uses the subjunctive. When it comes at the end of the sentence, then it doesn't need the subjunctive. And that is pretty much it. And we'll just finish with a quick reminder. As mentioned before, if you're looking to become a confident and competent speaker of Spanish, head over to prospanish.co.uk where you can download the full Levels 1 to 6 course.